In the spirit of the new year, let's talk about personal development goals for 2024. Whether your goals are concrete or related to emotion, therapy can play a pivotal role. A therapist can help you create SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Not sure where to start? A therapist can guide you through stress management, anger management, and various challenges that you might be facing. Now, let me tell you about our sponsor, BetterHelp. They've made starting therapy easier and less intimidating. With over 30,000 therapists in their network, BetterHelp matches you based on your needs, preferences, and location, providing a wide range of expertise. To begin your journey, fill out a questionnaire about your challenges and therapist preferences. In most cases, BetterHelp matches you with a therapist within 48 hours. Plus, you can choose phone calls, messaging, or video chat, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Scheduling is a breeze, and if you ever feel your therapist isn't the right fit, switch with a click of a button at no additional cost. No need to break up with your therapist and start the search anew. Join over 4 million people who've used BetterHelp to start living a healthier, happier life. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/JMC. That's betterhelp.com/JMC. Clicking that link helps support this channel, and it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Remember, therapy is about your well-being, and BetterHelp is here to support you every step of the way. Thanks to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Take care of yourself, and here's to a year of growth and positive change.
I think one of the things, like when sometimes people say, "Oh, you both are a power couple," and I don't want to be that.
Okay, because I refer to you as a power couple. Well, now I know.
Thank you. But you are also married though, so you understand. Like, marriage has its ups and downs and things like that. Like, we go through those things where we sometimes don't know how to communicate properly with each other, where we have to sit and work through those things. So like, one of the big things is, like, we created a concrete rules. We want to see it be successful. So it's like, we gotta do give our best when we show up there. But like, there has been days where we were talking for 5 hours before we had to go on work because we had to work through some shit before we got there. Is this blocking my view? Just making sure. Okay. I feel like I'm a pro now that I was here. Second time, put it on your resume. Yeah.
You feel comfortable?
Yeah.
All right.
Very.
Do I look comfortable?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
So thank you for coming. I am recording now. Sorry, I should have told you.
No problem. It's fine.
We're recording. We're good. So what's going on? One of the things I wanted to do when I started this podcast was to get both of you on. So this is actually, I was talking to my wife and I was like, this is like a highlight moment for me, just because what y'all are doing, and a lot of people are inspired and love what you're doing, and I'm one of them. So thank you very much for coming. I'm very, very grateful.
Thank you.
We when this comes out, it'll probably be like February or March, but it is the new year we just celebrated. So we're in the 2024. How was your holidays? How was your new year?
Go ahead. It was great. It was great. It was short, but it was great. Definitely enjoyed being with the family and just spending time and just being present with them. Yeah. That's it. It was really needed.
Same. Like, definitely unplugged.
Yeah.
Got time to just relax and just be. In the moment. Was just enough. Yes.
Yeah, it was. I actually took a month off, like, with the exception of doing interviews. I haven't uploaded anything, and I just had to unplug, and I had to kind of take a step back. I actually rescheduled a couple interviews because I was like, my mind was just frazzled. So when it comes to unplugging and disconnecting and being in the moment, and I'm sure you both agree, that's like a high item on my list. And my wife not that she keeps me in check, but she helps me remember that, you know, like, hey, you know, don't get lost in the fog. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Stay balanced.
Yeah. Stay balanced. And I feel like the older that I get, the more I'm like, I'm comfortable being in that balance. You know what I mean? You good?
I felt like I was sitting here. Like,
you want to come over here?
Yeah, I'll come. That's fine. We should cheers.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Okay. I didn't drink first.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Salud. You can clink with me.
There we go. That is really good. Say it with your chest.
That is red label or black label.
It tastes like black label.
Yeah. It's one of those. I'm not too savvy like with certain names of whiskey. Like this is with Diet Coke. I usually drink it straight. I can't do it anymore. My wife.
I forgot to say.
She's like a whiskey connoisseur. Yeah. I used to be able to drink it straight. So, but anyway, I can't like. There's a lot of people that are like, they can name rye whiskey, and you know what I mean. Like they know all kinds. And I'm just
not
like,
me.
Nah, I just like the whiskey.
No, not at all.
So let me start here because I know y'all had. When I spoke to Solise and I spoke with you a year and a half ago, there's a lot going on, and I want to pick up with a Concrete Rose if that's okay, because I know that we talked about a lot of people don't see the behind the scenes, they don't see what goes on behind the door, and you had to share some news that things weren't going the way that you had hoped, and. Not that you kind of divulge, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, I kind of read in there, and this goes back to the red tape that you have to deal with the politics and the shit that people know this, that, and the third, and you got to know these people. And
Absolutely.
Are you comfortable sharing what's going on with the Concrete Rose?
Yeah, we got whiskey.
Yeah, might as well, right? And I got plenty. No,
I'm gonna need some cola put in there. But yes, go ahead, babe.
It's like where to start. So we have, talked about our journey, like how it was difficult in the beginning because people, when I say people, I mean like lenders who were reaching out to like funders for money to start this idea because we just had an idea. We didn't have excessive funds. So it was like proving ourselves and proving the idea over and over again. The first thing was, why would anybody want to drink wine in Southeast? Can you even make wine? What makes you think that you can just make wine and start selling it? So we were being challenged every step of the way. So that was exhausting in itself. But to move forward and then actually open the doors. So it's like, oh, well, you can't do this. You're not going to be able to do this. Then we went on to do it with the crumbs that they gave us. They gave us limited funding. They knew that we needed more. So we asked, what did we ask for? It was $150,000?
Yeah, I believe so.
So it was a $150,000 project to $200,000 project. And we were given from the one lender, we were given $50,000.
Okay. And
during this process, we kept like bringing them everything that they asked for, and the goalpost was moved.
Okay.
So it's like, you must have this credit score. So we worked hard to build our credit, to make sure our credit was good. Then they were like, come with $20,000. We came with 40. I think it was 40, right?
Yes.
We came with $40,000. Then it was like, oh, well, you need this or you need that. And you need, they were asking us for like crazy stuff. Yeah. So that was just in the beginning stages. And then just keeping it sustainable was very difficult because it's really just us two. We have staff, or we had staff. So that's a whole different thing now. We had staff. We have to pay them. We had to figure out a menu, and that was something that like was very challenging because we don't have that restaurant background. So that was challenging. We still had to make wine and make enough to sell it in bottles and sell it in store as well. So it was very difficult to try to balance all of that while we were advocating for ourselves when we were treated wrongly, behind closed doors.
And to just piggyback off of that, we was told that we had to open within 2 weeks. of when we received our license. So that was a challenge in itself because it was just like, that's not normal.
Yeah, I was about to say, is that typical to be told when?
No.
What was their reasoning? Did they tell you? That's just a rare thing to ask.
We had it was around our liquor license. So we have like a limited winery license, and basically they had it in safekeeping because we weren't finished with the construction. So once we got this, what was it? What's that little certificate of occupancy?
Okay, yeah.
They told us that we had, I think it was 2 weeks from that day to open, at least to have like some kind of soft opening where we're, having people in there. So we had to do that in 2 weeks. We were not ready.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
we probably would have still been like working on it.
Yeah.
So we had to open within that time frame with what we had, and we made it happen, but it was very difficult.
And it wasn't our vision. Like, we wanted to market more. We wanted to do more. We wanted to, show the process more in different ways. But everything just happened so quickly. And with that 2 weeks, we was like, whoa.
Yeah, well, I feel like it kind of robs you, too, of, like, how you envisioned the opening day, how you envisioned the ribbon cutting, how you envisioned it's forced upon you to do it differently. And so you're kind of forced to kind of like bite your tongue in a way because you're finally getting that moment. It's not on your timetable. So it sounds like really from the gate then this has always been your back has been against the wall.
Yes.
And I think I go back to people don't see what goes on behind closed doors. People don't see the behind the scenes. It's a shame that when you have somebody that's saying, I can bring this to the Southeast. I know we talked about that. It was very important to you. Why wouldn't you want to get behind something that could enhance the culture in the Southeast, bring more people to the Southeast, and change the landscape, in my opinion. But that goes back to the agendas. This was something that were you somewhat privy to what you were getting into in that regard, or these things that were kind of like, oh shit, y'all are really starting to play some games?
So I have to be mindful of how I word things. But
yes, please, I understand.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not worried about me.
I'm not worried about
you. I'm worried about you. I don't want you.
Right. So I knew that there would be a fight with people that didn't look like us. I didn't know that the fight would be so heavy with someone or people that I identified with, that I trusted.
Okay, I got you.
So that is what hurt a little bit more, because it's like, we're in this together. We have the same, we say that we have the same intentions and goals, but it felt like there was work being done against us while telling us, well, I'm helping you out. I'm looking out for you. So if I asked a question like, hey, this don't seem right, well, I'm doing, I've done X, Y, and Z for you. Basically, don't ask me that question. So it felt like...
Okay, gotcha.
It felt like we were being gaslit throughout the whole time. And this is something I'm very keen to. So like, I was the one, like, not to say Solise wasn't either, but I would send out emails like, hey, this doesn't seem like this is cool. This seems kind of shady. What's up? Let's talk about it. And I really love to have communication, like have conversations with people. Definitely the difficult ones, the ones that we're uncomfortable in, because that's how we grow. But I was seen as difficult, or I was just kind of nagging or questioning the integrity of others when we just wanted to be treated fairly. So I think that's what hurt the most, because we weren't expecting it to come from where it came from. But it's not something that we haven't seen in the past.
No, yeah. I can. When my wife tells me when we talk, there's times where she shares that she has to watch what she says. I'm not sure if I spoke with you, but she has to watch what she says, because she'll be looked at as the difficult Latina, the loud Latina. She needs to be. You have to walk this line, but now we're in a game where the scale is way bigger than the average person has to deal with, and I mean, you're alluding then you're dealing with this with people who look like you. Is it fair to say then you got a chance to see the ugliness, but like how things take place on that level, and now that you have, like, how do you take that? How do you take that into like consideration for a possible future endeavor?
It teaches me, and this is stuff that I've studied for years. I've seen this in different systems with different people. We are all living in a world that is run by colonialism and, white supremacy and things like that. And even people that look like us have adopted those things, or they operate in the white gaze, where they navigate things the way that our oppressors would, and they do it to their own communities. So I've seen this, and I've seen it happen, and not to say necessarily that's exactly what's going on, but it's something that is very similar or familiar to the things that I've seen in other communities, higher up in different industries, entertainment, things like that. Like, these things are not new. This is not a new wheel that we're inventing. It's something that it's a cycle that we're in that we have to break, and we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, no. She's
amazing.
I just don't want you to feel like I'm not giving you your time.
You were fine. Look, I was
she brought me here to talk.
Yeah.
That whiskey, you put a little bass in your voice.
Hello.
It's been a minute since I had whiskey too, so I was like, hello, I guess I got Black Label. I didn't know I had it.
Trying to slow down and go open up my chest. But
Yeah, I remember when I saw that post, my wife and I were sitting there, and we were bummed because watching what you all were doing was just dope. It was just dope to see, because it hadn't been done, and it was like I wish that I wish that things could be different, but I'm also grateful that y'all had this shot. But I also feel like that wasn't like the one and only. Like, I don't know what's in store.
Right.
But I just, from what I've seen and talking with you both, I don't feel like it's like, well, we tried it, and so now we're just gonna like, you know what I mean? I know, like, personally, for me, like, there's times where it's just like, oh, okay, now I know what the score of the game is. So let me keep doing what I'm doing, but I'm just taking this as an opportunity to learn more. And then, because at the end of the day, all I got is the next shot, the next opportunity. So I appreciate you being candid. And the reason why I wanted to start off with that, because it's that important, I feel. I'm sure you do know and are aware, like, how important the community, how that is important to the community.
Yes.
But I felt that it was important also for you to have that opportunity to kind of be like, here it is, and it is what it is. But it sucks, but I'm grateful that you did it, because I feel like people saw that and were like, oh, okay, I'm inspired to do this now, whatever that may be. So thank you. So here we are now, the New Year's 2024.
Yes.
What's the game plan then?
So right now we're present. So as everything just unravel, going back to 2023, just announcing that, it was a relief. It's just been going on behind the scenes. So, and we have been trying to be as transparent with our process as possible, because we want people to know that it's not as easy as it looks when everything's all glitz and glamour. So we want people to know that, there are trials and tribulations, there are pushbacks, there are setbacks. There's a lot of things that we know. There's a lot of things that we continue to learn. So to finally have that out there, it felt like a boulder off our shoulder. Remember my episode when I was saying there's fire behind us and I'm smiling right now? This is exactly what it was. And it was just like, we just have to continue to push and just releasing that. So a lot of people was like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry, what's going on? And it's just like, it just feels good to just finally put that out there.
Well,
like, we don't carry that as heavy as it was because we was trying to balance everything. And it's just like, you know what? Now they see that we're humans. We can also, they also aware that we're going through this and we can still balance life.
Yeah.
So, and it was heavy.
It was heavy. Heavy.
Well, I was about to say, like, now that you said that and I'm thinking about it, like, y'all opened up, forgive me, I'm drawing a blank. Was it October? Was it October?
Yep.
Of 22?
Yep.
Okay, so for a year, a little over a year, how was that like? I mean, now that you, I know you've explained what you had to deal with, but I'm talking about like between y'all, this isn't something you can just turn off.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, how was that like for y'all?
It was a complete learning process. I mean, we had to learn how to balance something that we needed to be at all the time.
Yeah.
And then we're married, so we have our home finances.
Yeah.
Then a Concrete Rose has its finances, and like if a Concrete Rose was ever doing bad, we had to invest our personal money. It's that personal equity, right? Personal equity is what they call it, but we still had to invest that money into a Concrete Rose, because if we didn't make enough money to pay payroll, who's going to pay them? And like as an owner or a boss, and we talk about this often, and I'm like grateful to like be on this journey with you, because we have someone to talk to about these things. So like we give grace to the people that we work with all the time, but like if you can't pay somebody their paycheck, you know, that's not going to be reciprocated all the time. Maybe one time or maybe not. But other people may have they have bills to pay. They are depending on that check. So it's like, you know, I'm working, trying to book like double time. She's working a 9 to 5 to make sure we have our house bills paid, and then enough money just in case something happens with the Concrete Rose, that we have a little bit more to be able to pay for that. So people don't see that. And it was very hard because it caused a lot of turmoil.
It did. And then it conflicts, because then when you talk to business people, they're like, do not put your money into the business at all. So they're like, you know, always make sure home is fine, because at the end of the day, you have to have home before you have the business. And I'm like, I understand that. But as business owners, you know, this is your baby. So, it's very difficult. And then we hear, oh, no, you have to stop doing that. You have to X, Y, and Z. You have to make sure you pay yourself, at least to, you know, start off and get in the habit of paying yourself. And it's just like, we can't do that right now. Like, we didn't start off with the fund. So it has been very challenging on that end. And personally, just growing and understanding. And now I'm more aware, so I'm just on it and things like that. But it has been beautiful. It's been very beautiful to just see the people that just walk in a Concrete Rose, and it's one big family. Like we say, welcome home. Every time you come in there, you're going to talk to somebody else in there, regardless if you know them or not. Because that's just how open everybody is in there. They'll help you out. I've never been to a place where, you know, they're helping me at the end of the night. We're closed, and they're like, oh, let me put this away from you. You need me to wipe down chairs? You need I'm like, we ain't even say nothing. So it's just like, they're like, oh, we love this place. We want to make sure we keep it clean. And I'm like,
that's what's up,
this
though.
is beautiful. So
well, that was the goal, I'm sure, was to enhance that community aspect.
Absolutely. So
people don't see that part either.
They don't.
You know, they don't see what the people that contribute their time one way or another. I know you said, like, when it comes to the paycheck, some people are understanding, some people are not. And it's like one of those catch-22s where it's like, I can't fight you on this. Like, I got you. I get it. When it comes to doing stuff like that, I've heard stories like this before, where it's like when people are trying to do something on their own and they've got people involved in it with them, they don't even get paid. They just make sure that they're paid. There's a lot of stories you hear, people that start businesses and they're like, look, I skated by, we weren't even really making money. It was just, we were just 0, 0, 0. Just everything was covered, but we weren't profiting. You know what I mean? Right. And so, though I'm sure, like, people that were telling you that it makes sense when you hear it, but it's also like, what are you supposed to do when you're in this moment?
And we really greatly appreciate all our staff. We appreciate you being there. So in our heads, it's just like, how can we do that? Like, I will give my last. Like, you didn't have to be here. You could walk out that door at any given moment. So it's just like, we just want to show that we care. We want to show that, you know, we do appreciate you being here, and making sure that they understand that they are first. And plus, my own trauma, being with a business where
Both of us.
Both of us, yeah. It was actually both of us.
Working with the business, and it was sinking.
And it was sinking, and they take you out to dinner while they firing the rest of the other people.
Yeah.
And it's just like that. We just been in spaces where we just understand where we want to feel seen in a working environment and work as a team and also create that culture in there. So, yeah, that's the first thing. We want to make sure that they are paid regardless of what's going on because they deserve it. They do. Yeah.
When it comes to the community, when you made this announcement, how was the outpour like? You said that some people were like, I didn't even know, I didn't realize, this, that, and the third. Like, was that reception of the community what you expected or no?
I think I may have lowered my expectations because of my experiences. And it wasn't the first time we were mentioning that we were struggling.
No, yeah.
So when we dropped the announcement, people were like, oh my God, why didn't you say something sooner? I didn't know it was that bad. And I'm like, why? I told you it was that bad before. You didn't believe me because I was still showing up. We were still working. We were still hosting events. And it was that bad. Just because you see the place packed out doesn't mean we're making as much money as we should.
Right.
So, like, I lowered my expectations of what the community would do, not because I didn't want to be open to it. I just didn't want to be disappointed.
Sure. Yeah.
So the outpouring of love from the community, not just in Lancaster, but outside of Lancaster, has been so fulfilling that it has motivated us. Like, people shared with us their personal connection to a concrete rose versus, I just like to go to that place.
Yeah.
It was very deep. It was very intimate. We felt like we succeeded. Well, we did. We have succeeded in our goals. So, like, no matter what happens, we know that we did what we said we were going to do.
Well, you also set a precedent that type of environment can be done. There's many hats. We talked about that in your interview, Solise, where you as well, the different hats you're wearing, the different things that are taking place in the same space at the same time, really. Yeah. So, though it wasn't the way that it was supposed to turn out or you wanted it to turn out at the very beginning when they were saying this can't be done, it was done. And I feel like that's really what we should be focusing on. So the community is showing love, rightfully so. Going back to what we talked about before, this impacted you mentioned that being married, you're wearing the hats of you're married, but then you're also working together. The duality of we wrap this shit up here when we go here and vice versa. Yeah. One of the things that I appreciated as a married man myself as being married is that when you do something with someone that you love and it doesn't interfere, other people catch that vibe. I don't know if anybody's ever shared that with you, because it's always the perception like you don't ever want to work with somebody that you're married to. You just don't ever want to do it. But the fact that it can be done, it's another like milestone. It's like, no, we did this, that, and the third, and we did it together. We're married. Mm-hmm. It didn't disrupt the chemistry. It didn't disrupt the balance at home. Can you share with us, I guess I got an audience behind me. One day. Can you share with me, how is that? How do you go about doing that? What are some of the things that you both talk about with each other? Like, were there some ground rules? This is what we're going to do. This is not what we're going to do.
Yeah, I think one of the things, like when sometimes people say, "Oh, you both are a power couple," and I don't want to be that.
Okay, because I do refer to you as a power couple. Well, now I know.
Thank you. But you are also married though, so you understand. Like, marriage has its ups and downs and things like that. Like, we go through those things where we sometimes don't know how to communicate properly with each other, where we have to sit and work through those things. So, like, one of the big things is, like, we created a concrete rose. We want to see it be successful. So it's like we got to do give our best when we show up there. But like there has been days where we were talking for like 5 hours before we had to go on work because we had to work through some shit before we got there. And that, it just works out that way. But when we're going in there, like if she sees me in the back struggling, she's not gonna, be pissed off and be like, well, I'll go figure it out. Yeah. She's gonna get back there. She's gonna help me make the food. I'll help her up front. And we'll eventually talk about, what needs to be talked about. But like, I think a concrete roll is helpful. Yeah, it is helpful. Yes, because maybe it would have been like, I need space for 2 days, but we have to go to work. So it's like,
fair enough.
All right,
okay,
we sat here and we just made this, this wing platter together. Let's talk about this after.
Okay, yeah. Well, I didn't think about that. Like, you're right. Like, there's times where I'm sure the space is needed, but then you realize like you were able to probably get through it because you were not forced, but you had to go to work together. You still had to be in the same space. We might as well figure this out now, which is kind of dope because, I've had my experiences where it's just kind of like, I love you, bye. I love you, bye. And then you go to work and then you come back and you're like, are we all right? It's been 8 hours. Right. Absolutely. So the reason why like these questions that I'm asking you, one of the things that I like to do is kind of like bring to light like the humanity, and like you mentioned earlier, we're human, because when the power couple comments come up, it's I've always felt that I only really hear that with Black and brown people too. I don't really hear that and I'm not trying to be like against white people. I'm just saying like when I because I feel like the narrative of Black and brown people as couples is marriage, and it's never always really glamorized. It's always the bad. It's always like, well, look, they didn't the divorces and the children they ain't acting right now. So when you have this dynamic that's so dope and strong, it's such a powerful moment. The power couple comes into play. But I always try to bring to light, like, look, like people are doing this, that, and the third, but they still got to deal with the same shit that you're dealing with. And we can talk about love. We can talk about anger. We can talk about mental health. We can talk about emotional stress. We can talk about the wonderful beauty that is marriage and life. When you have that particular person that you're like, no, this is it. I'm riding with you, and we're going to go through some ugly days. It's almost like I know I'm going through an ugly day with you, but I'm still safe. Because I've had experiences where I'm going through an ugly day with you, and I don't know where we're going. And so when I have that with my wife and I see that with other people, it's almost kind of like, there it is right there. So kudos to you both. I wanted to kind of point that out. So I don't know. I just feel like I wish I could help, and maybe this is a way to help and kind of like just get that shit out there.
No, seriously.
Yeah, well,
because a lot of people actually watched it, and a lot of people was like,
thank you, because it's hard for me to gauge that because I'm like,
I had a lot of people contact me and was like, oh my gosh, you did great. I'm like, you watched the whole thing? They was like, yep, and played it. And
I made her watch the whole thing because she'll run from it. I was like, I'm pulling it up on the big screen.
She definitely did. Definitely had me on the big screen, and I was about to cringe, and then I was just like, you know what, this is actually good. Like,
I think what I love about it too is like people really how do I say it? Like when they see themselves or when they hear themselves, it kind of like reignites that fire that was in there, or the fire was always there, but now it's just like, okay, like, because that's the gist of the podcast, really, where it's just like, yo, look what you're doing. Like, let's listen to your journey. Let's listen to your story. Let's talk about it. But then like take a step back and look at what you're doing, which is why I asked those questions. Like, are you aware of the response from the community? Do you see how you're looked at? Do you see, not so much like on a like boss level? I mean, not, of course you want that, but I mean like as a community.
The community, they show so much love. Like yesterday, I literally held somebody in my arms as they cried because they don't want this to go. And it's just like, that's how powerful it is. We put up a tree, and we had people write what does a concrete rose mean to them. When I say, if you go read this tree, because it's still up, 3 Kings Day.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
You read this tree, and it's just so inspiring. Yeah. And it's just so like, I cry at times because it's just like, it's so powerful. People writing poems. They come into our spoken word on Real's Garden and writing poems about why a concrete rose should be here. What does it, and what it means to them. Like, it's amazing what they're doing. And it's just like, wow. And they're really just showing up, and it just touches my heart, and it's just like, wow, this is what we're doing it for. Like, this is a safe space for everyone here.
Right, it's a safe space, and it also showed me, and I'm sure it showed everybody else, like the vibe and the culture in Lancaster that really has flourished. Probably, like, in my opinion, probably the last 10 years or so, give or take, where it's really become like there's so much dope shit going on, but you could see the usual suspects there, the names that everybody kept coming back. I right off the bat, I'm thinking of Sir Dominique Jordan, like, hosting, you know what I mean? Like, people continued to stay together and return and came back week after week after week. So it was like the community obviously wants this. They appreciate it. They benefit from it. It's a shame that, like, you would think in a perfect world, when you have something like that, it would take off. It would, the community, the city, the environment would hold it and be like, this is what we need. But it is what it is, and I'm glad we're talking about this. Do you need something? I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, I think what I've seen, it's not necessarily like, I think that we're past the point of people questioning what we need, in our community. I think there's a savior complex. So, like, I think other people may have wanted to do it. And a lot of times, like, when we think of gentrification and things like that, like, why did it take white people to come into our community for it to be revitalized?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for us to do it in our own community, I think that sometimes in different communities, I won't just say Lancaster, in different communities, it's about who's doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to do that first, or I wanted to be the person. And community is not about that. Community is about cultivating a collective conscious base, basically, for us to progress forward together. It's based in love. If we look at bell hooks and the things that she has said, like, cultivating community is about me nurturing you so we can nurture the space that we're in together. It's not about being a savior or who does it first. It's about, what can we do together? How can I nurture the potential in you, and in return nurture myself as well? How does that nurture me? So I think that we have to take another look at how we are building community. It's not necessarily who's doing it, it's how we all, like, helping each other do it together. And that's what a Concrete Rose has been, because if it hadn't been for the people that recently, like, poured into a Concrete Rose in these past few weeks, because some people could have said, hey, they're shutting down, I ain't going there.
Right.
Right. But,
like, what's the point? They're shutting down, but
we
it's
stripped,
the point.
because right now we're down to Solise, myself, and one other staff member, Michael. He's amazing. But we had to strip down. Yeah, Michael's amazing. We had to strip down.
What up, Mike?
Hey, he is.
We had to strip down all of, like, our menu because it was too much. We had to simplify things, and we started off with this extravagant menu, thinking we needed all those things, and the community said, we just want to save space. So I'll take, some chicken over rice. I'll take, a few options versus.
Well, no, your chicken is
all right.
chicken like this regular chicken.
But
like,
I mean, like, we didn't need it.
And I didn't even taste it because we pescatarians now, but I know, and we get so many compliments. So
there you go.
The menu's simple.
It's simple though.
I know. But that was something that y'all were doing, was making your own food, making your own wine. Again, but people don't. They probably are aware of it, but not really aware of what that entails. It's a lot of time.
It is
a lot of time.
It is a lot of time, a lot of prep, and So, and I wanted to piggyback off. You said about Sir Dominique. I think that's the first time I said Sir Dominique. Hey, Dominique. But yes, his mom wrote a poem about everybody that a regular
Miss A. Yes.
Miss A wrote a poem about everybody that's usually there every week. And it was so beautiful at Griot's Garden. And we heard it yesterday. And she named, and it just flowed so well. And it was just like, everybody
the regulars
was,
that
the regulars, and they was all in the room. So it was just like,
dope.
Wow, like it was really amazing. That's just how connected we are in there, and
all the dedication.
And
Sir Dominique Jordan, he's been really like key into like keeping Grill's Garden going, because I had this idea, but like realistically, I'm in the kitchen. I can't host, you know, this open mic every week. So the fact that he's been dedicated like every week for the past, over a year now, like we really appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like when someone sees your vision and they buy in,
it's that part.
It's like part. they're in it, and when you have something like that, it just shows you like how dope the vibe is here in Lancaster. Also, like to piggyback off what you were saying, like the Savior Complex, to be able to do something that you believe in, but knowing that you probably won't see the results of that it'll probably be your children's children, and you're okay with that because you just want to do what you feel is right. Like I've always appreciated that story of like I'm doing I'm starting something that I believe in. I probably won't see this come to fruition in my lifetime, but at least it's starting. As opposed to being like, I need to start this now. We need this. I want to see results. Yeah. And when we see results, we need to know who set the bar high and who's. You can get lost in the sauce in that regard. So, yeah, thank you very much for, like I said, for starting this conversation like this. I don't want to stay here because there's so much more I want to get into, but I am grateful for that because, like I said, someone's watching right now. They're aware of Concrete Rose. They're aware of what's going on. They've been inspired. Somebody's going to do something because of what y'all started. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Obviously, y'all love each other. We get that. We see the vibes.
I know we're over here playing like.
I was holding her hand like this. And I was like, it's giving something else. That's
weird. Me and my wife will do that, and it's like we get into our puzzle piece positions, watching movies. It's like almost, and so I dig it. So like when did y'all meet? Because I know everyone sees y'all as this couple, but when did the two of you meet?
She said, let me get a drink.
Let's get the drink. Yeah, let's go.
It's good.
You want me to move that closer for you?
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like I was traveling a mile. Thank you. Your hospitality is amazing.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm behind.
So we met in 2015, right?
Yes.
I was looking for a choreographer for Speak to My Soul, the play, and one of my best friends, she is your sorority sister, and she was like, "Hey, I know this, my sorority sister. She's real nice with dancing. She battles kids.
I'm the best, and I battles kids.
I doubt that she said that. Just because I know my friend, she would never give you that glory.
You know what? I see it, but
she's just too cool for school. But anyway. But she was like, hey, she's nice, she's this is her telling me that you were really good. She was like, she's kind of nice. She was out here battling kids. She showed me a video of Solise like at this battle, and there was kids, and she was just going like she was going crazy. Like
you did say that you'll battle anybody.
I did.
Yes, I was like, okay,
you said
cool.
Kids.
I needed a hip hop choreographer specifically for our final scene in the show, so I reached out to her on Instagram, and I don't think we really communicated like that for the first half.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it was just
I came in at that time. I was just really focused on what I needed to do. So when she contacted me, I came in, did what I needed to do, and I left.
Oh, you talking about after you
after
came
we met
through?
And communicated.
Yeah.
Yep.
You still there wasn't. It wasn't then. It was
no.
Okay.
No. It took a little bit because again, we both was just in and out. Like,
yeah.
At that time, during that time, I don't waste no time. When I'm done and I gotta go, I gotta go. I don't stay and linger.
Yeah.
So it was that time, and then later on,
we became friends.
We became friends, and then she just fell in love with me. And
It's 2015 when y'all get married.
2020.
Okay, so this 5 years. Well, then what? 2015 y'all met, but when did y'all start dating?
Around 2016.
Oh, okay, so it was a whole year.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was actually engaged.
Okay, gotcha.
To be married.
When you met?
Yes. When I first met her. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a turning point in my life.
Sure. I was about to say is that I had an interview with forgive me, Marie Bell, I believe. Yeah, and she shared this same story in regards. Are you comfortable sharing that or
yeah,
no?
No, I just so I was in a relationship at the time, and we were engaged to be married, but so I had a plan for my life, and my plan was I have an amazing son. We have an amazing son now, but my plan was no kids, no marriage. I just wanted to be single, and I wanted to travel the world, and that's what I wanted to do. And I was in a relationship with someone that wanted those things. And
those things that you just mentioned?
Those things that I mentioned, and I didn't want those things. So once I, was pregnant with my son, with our son, I felt like I had to follow this model. So it was like, well, you're pregnant now. You need to go get married, and you should get married. And I felt like it was really what I wanted. But then I was in this relationship. I felt unhappy every day. I didn't feel liberated. I didn't feel free. And it was just like, what am I doing? So we became friends, and I was like, I feel free. Like there's a whole life out there that I'm not living because I'm about to basically, in my head, I'm about to be domesticated. I'm going to be somebody's wife. I'm going to be expected to do certain things. And I was expected to cook and clean at home. And I had bigger dreams than that. I didn't want to be minimized to just doing those things or just working a job that I really didn't want to do. And I had dreams that I wanted to pursue. So I felt like we clashed there, and we really grew out of, we grew in different places. So once I realized that it was about breaking off a relationship that seemed perfect to everyone else, which was very hard. So going to, family and friends and saying, what, this isn't working out for me. And I've been saying it for a while, but it's one of the responses that bothered me most was well, he's not hitting you. So what are you leaving for? And I was like, just forget about my happiness and things like that. So after we broke things off, then I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with this situation because it was scary for me. And, I started to date her, and it was very difficult because this is a side that my friends seen it. They've seen that side of me. My family hasn't seen it. So it was I had to come out as a new person, but I had to step out for me and deal with whatever the backlash was going to be to step out into this new freer version of myself.
Was that, you said my family hadn't seen it, were they aware of it but they didn't see it, or they just didn't know at all?
I've only I've only dealt with women in between my relationship with that person.
Okay.
And so my friends seen it in college, but they didn't see it at home. No one's seen that at home. That was Lancaster's too small. So
when I had mentioned Marie Bell, I interviewed her. She was married and fell in love with a woman and realized she had to really own who she was and live her truth. And so I'm kind of one of the things that I appreciate about that interview and what I'm hearing here is what I don't think people take the time to truly understand is the strength it takes to be not only am I going to stop this, but I'm really going to shake up a lot of things, because following my truth is going to go against a lot of everybody's expectations of me. Like you said, it's now that I'm pregnant, I need to get married. There's this law of what you should be doing instead of well, what do I want to do here? Because at the end of the day, if you're not happy, you're not happy. I know, I'm pretty sure our parents are around the same age, roughly. My mom and dad and grandparents, they all would say the same thing. if she's not doing this, if she's not doing that, then you don't complain. And it's just like, I get that, because y'all came from a time where it was like there was a lot of that going on, and that was the game plan. But now, like, you have to follow your truth, because we've seen now what it's like when you don't. I watched my parents divorce. I was 20 years old, and when they divorced, I was kind of like, yeah, I saw this shit coming. Right. I could count on my hand how many times y'all were intimate with each other, hugging and kissing. Like, you guys didn't show it. And so following your heart and following your truth is imperative for what you want to be, where you want to be in the future. And if people can understand that, sometimes family and friends won't see that, but that's okay, because if your gut and your heart's telling you where you need to go, you can go there. Eventually, those that are really vibe with you, that want to fuck with you and love you, they'll come.
Yeah.
So when you said it wasn't easy, like, are you at a better place with that now with family, or what's that like for both of you, really?
Yeah, well, when I broke it off with my ex, I didn't feel safe in Lancaster. Like, I didn't feel safe. Yeah. So one of the things that she did was she took me to New York, and this is a hilarious story, actually. So she took me to New York City. And this was the place, like, oh, okay. Like, just to reset, like, and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, oh, well, I could be a little bit more free in myself, right? So I'm like, this is new to me, like holding hands and all that kind of stuff. At first, I'm like, oh, get your hands off me. So, like, all of that was very new to me. But, like, there's this thing about my dad. So at the time, my dad he's a New Yorker. So I tell him, like, hey, Dad, I'm in New York. I ain't gonna come to the city without hitting you up. He's like, oh, cool. Where you staying? I was like, oh, well, I'm staying. I don't even know where we were staying. So I'm like, busting it up with her. We chilling and stuff. We might be holding hands. And my dad is, like, standing there.
Yeah.
Like, standing at the doors. Okay. He didn't tell me he was coming. He didn't tell me.
Wait. Okay, wait.
Yeah, he popped up on me.
Where's this at now?
This is in New York. Yeah.
But where y'all when
he's at the hotel?
Oh, he's at the hotel.
Yeah, that we were staying at.
He's outside.
Okay. Mm-hmm. He shows up.
He shows up happy, like, ah. And I'm like, ah.
Gotta be like, what's up,
bro? Yeah. So my dad was the first person that I talked to really about it, because, he, like, ran up on me.
Yeah.
And he just kept doing it the whole trip, though. Like, we would go to different places and he would be there. I'm like, yo, do you have my itinerary? Like, but he's one person that knows New York. Like, he needs no GPS. I could tell him, like, what billboard I'm by or something like that. He would pop up.
Wow.
So he was the first person I had that conversation with. And he, it was a little bit, it wasn't a difficult conversation. It was actually hilarious.
Yeah.
But I know that he was trying to process what was going on, because he was excited for a wedding that wasn't going to happen.
Sure.
But I felt like when I was going through things, I was not only going through things with my ex, but I was going through things with being an entrepreneur. And I felt very supported by her. And it wasn't support as if I just had this hobby and I was just doing this thing just to pass time by, because I'm, a stay-at-home mom or something. It was like, no, I believe in your dreams. I believe that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. So, like, that made me, like, believe in her as a person even more, because she saw what I was trying to do and didn't, like, brush it to the side as something that was small. And I think that's something I struggled with.
Yeah, I can appreciate that, because when it comes to, I don't know personally, but my sister's gay. She came out when she was 17. And I don't think I know for a fact, I don't want to speak for her, but she didn't get that type of support from our father. Mm-hmm. And even though my dad and mom came from a time that was different, I feel like my mom at least was like, okay, let me process this, but I'm here. Mm-hmm. So I think that's dope that you got that. I kind of envisioned it like I never met your father, obviously, but through your posts and the pictures that I share, I can kind of get that vibe from him, where it was just kind of like he probably was kind of like picking up the pieces in his own way, but loving you as his daughter, I think probably obviously right was the primary thing in his life, and so how did that feel for you to have that safe haven in a way with your father?
It felt great. I know that there were times that I didn't feel as supported, and I think it was just him going through the motions of things. Okay. But overall, I know that he loved me, and like he wanted to support me. He was just trying to wrap his mind around things. But I would say definitely at the end of his life, like he was in full support. Like he wanted to be there for everything. We just had seen him in Florida, right? Yeah. So at his house. So like he loves Solise. Like okay, cool. He would call. I'm like, what are you asking about her for? Like you're calling me. Like where's my girl? So like you know he and I think my whole family had grown to love our relationship and love her just for who she is, not necessarily like, oh well, you know, she's with that girl. Yeah. I think that they moved away from that because my happiness matters most, but it did take people time to process.
Yeah, I think I think people, if they're paying attention and they can tell that you're happy, if they love you enough, like I said, then they'll come around, because I've experienced that in my own life where it's just like, I may not be doing what you want me to do, but if you can notice that I'm a better person because I'm being who I am, then you're going to buy into that. And one of the things I don't like to do is like, let's focus on the fact that you're gay. It's not like that. It's more like, yo, let's focus on the fact like that these little nuances in your story that everybody can relate to is what we're trying to talk about, right? Like it's the fact that there's love present, but some family members may not agree with it, but we're doing what we believe in. I'm following my truth.
And I want to say, and for my experience with it, it was the complete opposite. So, like, even when I came out to my mom, the first thing, I was like, Mama, I'm younger. I like girls. She was like, I know. And I was like, oh, okay. Life was great after that. Once my mom knew, that was it. So, and then meeting her, and I have been with women, so it was just like, the no PDA and stuff. I'm like, whoa, this is new.
Okay, because you were already...
So, I was already in it.
Yeah.
So
I was just another
like,
one.
Absolutely not.
I was just them girls. I was going to get right back.
DJ Khaled. I was just another one.
Not at all. No. Clearly, she was the one.
No. But the dope thing about that then is I would assume then you were in that experience with her, understanding, and were you more... Because you were already... In your life, seeing her go through that transition, there was a support system in there one way or another where you were comforting her, you had her back. There wasn't any like a lot of like, come on, like I've already moved on I'm here in my life. You need to be, you know what I mean? When I met my wife I was just going through a divorce. I had just started a divorce actually. I'm lying. I separated. I was still legally married. I met my wife, and my wife was like, we were vibing. It was great, but she was like, you need time. Like, you need time. I'm already 3 years past my divorce. And so she was able to see that. And the reason why I bring that up is because that takes a lot of strength for someone to kind of, because she's vulnerable in this position. You know what I mean? It takes love to be like, I see what you're going through, and I'm going to put myself in a position where I'm here. I'm going to guide you. I'm not going to take advantage of this situation, which I think a lot of people that when they watch this podcast or any other story about love in that regard, it's like the last thing people want to do is be taken advantage of, and true love in my opinion, this isn't like a love podcast. I don't know why I'm bringing. I guess what I'm focusing on is just
it was the true love.
But it's the true love.
Hit a point.
The true love. It's like, man, like, can I be vulnerable? Can I let my guard down? Like you said, I don't want. Why am I holding your hand? Don't hold my hand. Like you're already in that very defensive, protective state. But eventually, the guard comes down because that's what it's all about. I'm gonna get a refill. Would you like anything? I know y'all got your
Coca-Cola. Yep, I like that. Yep, and then you'll see how fast it. Wait, hello.
I'm drinking this.
I see.
Like a real one.
A real one. Okay, baby. Go ahead. I see you. Thank you. Here. No, hot. Got the fur on. She got the fur on. That's why.
Oh,
okay.
It's the. So, one of the things that I brought up with Solise when we were talking is both of you are creatives. And so when it comes to choreography, dancing, battling kids, speak to my soul, spoken word. When you asked her to choreograph, was that the beginning of her inclusion into working together, like in regards to our creative space?
Yes, that was our first time. And we continue to work with each other for the next few productions that I did. And the music videos, I think. We did. Everything.
Yeah.
Ever since then. I like to work with people, like if I need a choreographer, if I need a singer, or if I need somebody to produce, I want to completely trust in you that you will do what I expect you to do as far as honing in your own gifts.
Yeah.
Because choreography, like I can have a vision, but I can't execute it myself. So like if I have a vision, I want to fully trust that she can do what she says she can do. And, you know, working with a bunch of different creatives, like that doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
Some people have confidence all the way up here and their skill set's a little bit lower. So
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. And which is great for them. But like as far as like when I'm working with someone, I want to focus on what I'm good at doing. And I want to have a team of people that are excellent at what their gifts are as well. So Solise, when it came to choreography and dancing, she had like a different fire, a different passion where I can say, I have this vision. This is how I want it. I would love for you to incorporate some of your ideas into it, your flavor, all that kind of stuff into my vision. And she did that, and I didn't really have to worry about it.
Yeah. That's a dope thing, though, too. Like, to be like, here's my vision. I trust you to do your thing with it. Like, I don't want to micromanage it. I want you to do it. Like, are you, is that common for you? Like you said, you've worked with a lot of creatives. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because I don't know if I could do that. Sometimes I'd be like, here's what I want you to do, but then I kind of want to make sure you're doing it the way that I envisioned it. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to being like, here's where I want you to end up. Get there however you wish. Yeah,
so I mean, I'm definitely open to the creative process, but I will show up at rehearsals like I don't like.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't like that.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever that is, don't ever do it again. That's me at rehearsals.
Just like that. Just like that.
What is that? Hate it.
Cut it. It's not it. Yep.
You will see on my script like omits on like straight stuff. Like I do when it comes to my vision. If something looks weird or off and it's too far off, it's gone.
And she's big on that, and I love that. Like just watching her, like I've grown so much. Like started off as the choreographer, and I just thought about this right now. And I ended the last show. I actually had a role.
Okay.
Like a speaking role.
Yes.
So welcome. So,
yes. So that wasn't always you. You weren't always doing that part?
Also, I secretly love acting. Like I love acting.
What you mean secretly?
Yeah.
Like
is
this something that? So you,
like
but this is something you
scenes at home.
Yeah,
I love it. So for her to actually recognize that, and she was just like, you know what, I need you to play this part.
Yeah,
and I was just like, okay, and I loved it. So I still play the part today.
Yeah.
Is there acting is that something that you want to fancy maybe sometime? Maybe.
Yeah. So it's funny because all my college years, all my electives was theater. So
okay.
all my electives was theater, and yeah, why not? I haven't really thought about it in that capacity, but if she needs me for it, I know I'm good for it. Like, I haven't, I guess it's the audition parts and stuff for that. Like,
yeah.
That's the part that kills me. And I'm like,
You did audition.
No, I auditioned for you, but I'm saying like for other things outside of my comfort zone.
The reason why I bring it up though is if that's something that when you say secretly, I take that is that something you like to do just within the small circle, the family life, or is that I kind of low key would like to act. I just am uncomfortable with the auditioning. But if I had a shot, I'd take it. Is that where?
I feel like that because
I'm getting that vibe from you.
That could be. I never really sat down and thought about it. But like when she needed me and she was like, "Hey, I need you to do this," I would step into that role.
Yeah.
Like because I know I can do it. So it's just like I really haven't sat down. I was just like, I would take the acting role, but I'm pretty sure I would if it's me. Yeah. Like
when they make a movie about y'all, you gotta play each other. So you might as well get.
I could play her very well.
All right.
Nah.
I'm a great.
No, not each other. I mean, you gotta play yourself.
Oh, I gotta play myself. Oh, okay, so look,
trying to play
I could
me.
be her. Look.
I'm a great impersonator.
But no, absolutely, I will play myself. Yeah. I mean, it's the only way. Like
you got to.
I'm great at it. So, but yeah. So I love it. But just watching her and just learning so much. And just being with her on that journey, and then for us to open up a Concrete Rose, I have and watched a lot. And you said earlier that we don't have cooking experience, like background. So I do have culinary experience. And she doesn't like to say it, but she is amazing with cooking, and she has experience with it in the kitchen. So I did want to correct that was a while ago, but yeah. So, but yeah, so we balance very well, and just watching her and then just growing and watching how she manages and help creatives, like it's so inspiring. Yeah. And she will push. I've seen her push people's brand or whatever. Like for example, King. Fire. He works with fire.
Okay, yeah.
She will push
that
the fire.
King,
yes.
Yeah.
King Prolific. Yeah.
King Prolific, and she will push and go behind the doors and say, "Hey, this is okay." Like calm everybody down their nerves, because production. They think that they're gonna burn stuff and things. Like I seen her go to bat for people, and that's what she do. So to continuously watch that, and then I wasn't aware until we opened up a Concrete Rose how much I took in. From just watching her.
Sure, yeah.
Like how much I took in, like her having these hard conversations. I'll be sitting in meetings like, whoo, sweating. I'm like, I could never, but now I can. Yeah. So it's just like she has these uncomfortable conversations. She's always educating, and especially advocating for creatives. So to see that, and then for us to build a Concrete Rose, I already knew like I was with the right person. Well, I knew that before all of this, but just building with her, it was just like, wow, like she is truly amazing. And I have to throw this out here. I really think Lancaster is sleeping on her. Like
1,000%.
100%. Like seriously, because I've seen it. I'm her wife too. I see behind the doors in the phone call. So it's just like, I just want to give you your flowers too, babe. Like you are absolutely amazing. Like I can't even just thank you enough for just what you do for the community, what you do for our family, and what you do for our business. Like
thank you.
It's beautiful. So definitely want to give you your roses because you deserve it.
Yeah.
Don't get sappy.
I got the tissues right there too. So go ahead.
Of course.
I really don't.
But do you agree with that? I agree with that. And this was actually a great segue because this is where I was going. Yeah, because I was going here where it was like, when it comes to, I know you just celebrated 10th anniversary of Speak to My Soul.
February. Will be our 10th,
Yep. Okay. You shared. You opened for Lauryn Hill. Was that something you just did?
I did a tribute show.
A tribute show.
I would love to.
But you also,
she's a Recording Academy. Member. Yeah.
So there's all this going on in Lancaster, and it's almost like you're right. It's like, do we not know what we got here? Do you ever get the vibe like I know you mentioned before when I talked to you about you went to Philly and you came back because you felt like it just wasn't right here for what you were trying to do. But I'm going through this myself personally, so I'm curious, like, to get your thoughts. But it's like, do you feel like, is it the grassroots thing for you, or is it like I need to just probably step out? Because there's so much that I feel like you could get the accolades that you deserve. And I never want to suggest that you should leave Lanc. It's not that.
It's okay.
But it's almost like Lanc ain't, but you know what I mean? But there's times where it's just like, even with me, my wife and I were talking, and I was like, I feel like I got to just start pushing the pod out to other markets because I'm not getting the eyes that I feel like I should, but I'm working so hard in this dome because I feel like I grew up in Lancaster and I want to just represent Lanc. And it's like, maybe I need to step out to get the eyes and then come back every now and, you know what I mean? So like, how do you look at it?
Yeah. And we'll definitely talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll definitely talk more about that. So I just really, I've been working on this in therapy, to be honest, because I push everyone else and not myself. So I'm like, why am I not getting the respect that I feel like I deserve in my own city? And yeah, people will pat me on my back like, hey, it's great, you're poet laureate. Yeah, great, you got it, you're a part of the recording academy, that's amazing. But I still don't feel like it's appreciated how much I actually like that I'm still here. So recently I said, I feel like there is a market for me to tour in Europe and tour in different cities, like in different countries, rather than even in the States. Like I've been to, and I've performed in different places, but I do feel like there's a market for me, maybe in London. I have connections out there. Like the spoken word scene is completely different than the States. So I do see that there's opportunity for me in other places, and maybe that recognition will feel fulfilling to me versus how I feel overlooked sometimes here, because here I feel like, and just the same thing with the Grammy thing, like I put Speak to My Soul montage of voices up for Grammy consideration, but the intrinsic motivation for that wasn't like, it wasn't for me. Like I was motivated because I felt like I had to get this one more thing, add this one extra thing to my resume so people can respect me more. Why do I feel like I have a crazy resume? I've done things that people dream of. I've gotten out of the practice of saying like humbly or like I've worked hard for that shit. Like I'm not going to keep making other people feel comfortable because I've done these things. So I stopped shrinking myself in that way, but I was chasing more all the time. And now you see like Taraji P. Henson, Viola Davis, they're experiencing the same thing at their level. So it's like, this is not just a me thing. This is a situation where when it comes to Black women and women of color in entertainment, but especially here as being a small town and we all have conversations with each other, I think that we could treat the artists that are here a lot better. Because Lancaster is literally making money, and their tourism is like a lot is, I would say not all based off of, but they make a lot of money off of artists here in Lancaster.
No, 1,000%. And I can't imagine a world where if you were ever to reach this milestone that you speak of, that they wouldn't glorify it in all of their local magazines and articles.
She's ours.
Like she grew up, I mean, I don't know how many, you got to hear about Taylor fucking Swift, and she grew up, I don't know, Reading or whatever, and I'm like, but then she's not even from Lanc, but it's like, where it's like, oh my God, but, so, and I will co-sign with this, and obviously I don't want to speak for you, but because people don't want to get the idea like you're just asking for accolades. It's like this underlining, like, fuck, I'm
but I like grew up here. Mm-hmm. Why can't I get this recognition? I'm trying to give it to you here. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think growth comes into play when you come to that aha moment where you're like, I am nice. And I think I need to do this over here. Because the older we get, we start realizing that these days go by really fucking quick. Next thing you know, 5 years. You care
less about a lot. 2025 already.
For real. Yeah. But I think for me, it's because I do this full time. This is not like a side hustle for me. This is not something I do sometimes. Like, I feed my family off of my bookings. I don't have any other income. Like, as far as I don't have a 9-to-5 and things like that. So like, I'm really on people's ass. Like, if you want to book me, I'm going to give you an experience, but you're not going to pay me the same amount that you paid another poet that just started.
Yeah.
Like, that's unfair to me because I've worked to get here. Mm-hmm. I know that when I'm on the flyer, because I don't perform often in one spot. Like, you won't see me perform in 5 times around Lancaster with the same content because it takes away from my value.
Sure.
So like, I want people to anticipate me. So I know that I can bring people to your show and I know that I'm going to give you a certain level of experience. So why wouldn't you pay me for that?
Yeah.
You'll pay for everyone else.
That's the thing.
You'll pay the caterer, everyone. So, I think that is very important to talk about, like, to know your worth, one, but to have those conversations. Like, why don't you feel like I'm worth what I'm asking for?
Right.
So that's where I'm at with things. I'm moving out of like trying to reach for more accolades to feel like I'm something because, I came with these gifts already. Yeah. Those are amazing. I'm not gonna lie, I get a Grammy.
Yeah.
But
well, why not, right?
Yeah, but those things are amazing, but I do want to feel valued where I come from.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, especially when you forgive me, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say before it's too late too. Like, if we move and then everybody, like you said, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, she's from here." Well, how about when I was here?
Right.
So yeah, and
but that's not the whole city though. Like,
oh yeah, no.
I do have people that really show me love and support, and
1,000%.
And I would never want it to be misconstrued that like I don't like it here, or people don't treat me as if I'm valued. I do have a lot of people that do really value me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't have it, and like I can work with them and things like that, but they support me like however they can. And I really, truly appreciate that because they're not only there when I'm on stage, they're there for me as a person.
Yeah.
So that's some parts of community and being here that I really appreciate.
I can appreciate that. And I think people know that. I think when it goes back to what you said earlier, when you were like, there's a lot of money in Lancaster.
Yeah.
And suffice to say that when there's a lot of money in Lancaster, that means there's a lot of visitors coming to this. There's a lot of eyes on Lancaster. Mm-hmm. You mean to tell me that there's this going on in the art vibe right now in Lancaster that people come to visit, and we're not really highlighting the artistic value that's here the right way? Like, well, that's why I say grassroots, because you got that love already. You got the community love, and you need that. I think it's hard for people to, like, when people are watching other people do big things, and it's just like, okay, now what more do you want? And it's just like, just because there's accolades being achieved doesn't mean you get to stop fighting for what you feel you deserve, right?
Right.
It's like this, like you said, the humility, it's there, but now I'm not gonna no longer be like, I am grateful. I'm a modest guy. It's hard for me to brag about myself. My wife has to do that because I'm like, I don't like to do that because it gets weird, and I'm just like, it's not me. But I'd be lying if I didn't say that for the past year or so. If I don't start speaking up for myself the way I know I need to be spoken up for, if you don't do that for yourself, nobody else is going to do it for you. Even those that truly do love you and support you and are pushing, how you need to be heard. And so I can appreciate that. I know that Lancaster is behind you, but there's a lot of movement here, a lot of eyes on Lancaster that I don't, like you said, I don't know if they notice I saw Speak to My Soul with Alexandra. We went to the Ware Center, and I brought this up to both of you, but I cried watching this shit. Like it's such a powerful experience. But the dope thing about it was like, I'm in Lancaster watching this.
Yep.
Y'all are from Lancaster. I'm surrounded by people that are from Lancaster, but probably also from York, Reading. They came. That's such a dope thing. Like, why wasn't that highlighted more? I feel like I've seen other places, other people get highlighted so many different ways in media in Lancaster. You know what I mean? So I feel like those kudos are deserving of you. I really do.
Yeah, you know, they say that like when what is it? Damn.
I'm not reading it right now. It might be the
It's like when a genius or once in a lifetime idea or person comes around, like people think it's foolish at first. They overlook it, and they've done it with a lot of people that we look up to now. They're billionaires. They're people don't like Kanye West, but he had a lot of innovative ideas, even the way that he raps and how he carried himself when he broke into the industry that people thought wasn't going to work. You look at hip hop, for example, the whole genre, they thought that was something that was not going to last a year or two, and it's 50 years last year. So like, I think knowing that gives me patience that maybe they will catch up. But like, it doesn't stop me from like acting on these visions, because I have to do. I'm a visionary. People are not going to understand, and it's my job to show them. And whoever takes it does, and whoever doesn't. But not to say it's not frustrating throughout the process. But as a visionary, you are gifted with vision because others can't see it.
I like that.
She be dropping gems. I be trying to write it down. But I do want to ask her what she's doing for her birthday.
What are you doing for your birthday? When is your birthday?
February 4th.
Okay.
Yes.
Aquarius.
Wow, my
She's
mom's is the 6th. My sister's is the 7th. My daughter's the 8th.
Wow. Okay. And I'm January
27th. Yeah.
See, look, Aquarius in here.
Hello.
I knew the energy was right.
See?
I know it was right.
So what are we doing for your birthday?
We're going to the Grammys.
Yes.
So I'm very excited. I really don't know what to expect, to be honest. Like, I've already made the connections through the nomination process. So we have to like vote in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So I met a lot of people throughout that process. So I'm looking forward to meeting these people in person, and we'll see how that goes. I'm sure it'll go great.
I talked to Terry and Mack. He shared how he went to the Grammys and he kept the journal with him. Is that something that when it comes to moments like that, are you the type of person that likes to be in the moment? Or are you taking pictures? Are you documenting things?
She definitely takes all the pictures.
Yep.
I'm her videographer that day.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm big on memories and making sure that she captures that, because
you'll never see it. It never happened.
Yeah. I'm horrible with pictures. My wife she likes to take pictures, and I'm always like, I just like to be in the moment. But then when I look back at pictures, I'm like, these are great.
Right?
Yeah. I'm definitely in the moment.
Yeah.
So I remember things like, and it's just, that's how I rate my poems. Like, I will remember something someone said to me, or I would remember how someone looked at me and how I felt in that moment, or someone's compliment that made me feel, very, like, those are the things that I write about. So it's not like a photographic memory. Maybe it's a poetic memory or something like that, I see things in poetry. Yeah. So I think life is very poetic. Yeah. That's where I find my inspiration. So that's how I document the things that I see. And I'm happy that she's coming along because I don't take pictures.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel weird, like having my phone out. She doesn't mind.
I nope. If
She
it's for
doesn't
her, which is crazy. When it's for her, I'm all, it doesn't, excuse me, she needs to take a picture. Excuse me, like, you got to move to the left. When it comes to me, I'd be like, I'm good.
I had a very
I'm okay.
I had a very weird experience in London. So I was at this this jazz bar, and it was a different vibe. Like, people were not on their phones like that. People were dancing. Mind you, their drinking age, I think, is 18.
Okay.
So it was kind of young. There was a mixed crowd, but 18, they were in there as well. And people were just dancing to a live jazz band. And I thought it was just the most amazing thing. And I seen this band, and they were on the floor. They didn't need a crazy stage. They didn't need a crazy sound system. Like, this was raw, authentic creativity right in the middle of the floor. So I pulled my phone out. Didn't do this the whole time. I pulled my phone out. The trumpet guy is like playing right here. And I take a picture, and the flash goes off, and people look at me like I pulled out a gun. And this is why I don't take pictures in places. And I was in London by myself at the time. So, like, this is me exploring.
Right.
I didn't even have a friend.
You didn't have somebody to fall back on.
No. She didn't read the room either. It's okay, but she was trying to live in that moment, and then they all looked at her like, you know.
I wanted to capture. I got the picture.
Okay.
It's a beautiful picture, but afterward, I would never forget how he looked at me. And I was like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's funny.
When considering what you both have done and what we talked about, the process and the time that it takes to go into something like Speak to My Soul, and the choreography and the level of work. Is there another project in mind that you're working on together? Have you ever thought about, like, when that moment will come, if it isn't now?
I think we're, like, at this moment, because it's about balance. So when we did the last show, A Concrete Rose wasn't open.
Yeah.
Right now, 2024 would be Speak to My Soul's 10th year.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's about building a strong team to continue what we started last year and the year before that and things like that. We need a strong team because I did create this business that has all these different arms to it, and it's great that I'm so involved in all of the processes, but I can't expect to be able to do things for myself and do things for A Concrete Rose and do things for my family if I'm trying to run all of that as well. And then us too, it's just not enough.
I know, because I love my date nights.
You can't stop those.
You can't stop those. Those are good times.
Yeah.
So, and we have great times. We make sure we unwind and enjoy and be present. So, no, I completely agree. But now that you asked that question, we are working on something, and it will be a project in itself, but it will use, and I don't know if you realize, it will use our love and passion and A Concrete Rose at the same time.
What do you mean? Explain.
That's on the weekends. I don't know if she want to share my idea I have, but we have been talking about it. So I know I was trying to be secretive, but yeah. So.
Is that as far as we're going with the secret? I mean, what's going on?
She wants to produce a murder mystery dinner.
Yeah.
So, like, I would write the script, and we would do it at A Concrete Rose. So we're working on, figuring out what that would look like, who would be a part of that, and that would be, just re-emerging Speak to My Soul all over again.
Yep, but just in a brunch setting where we'll utilize and bring our gifts and passion to A Concrete Rose in that capacity.
Now, what is it about doing something like that entices you, that intrigues you?
It mixes what we love to do, but then also it brings something different. I love acting.
That's where I was going.
Drama. Yes, and I have been to one years ago, but I know what we will vision and how it would look like for us and redo that, because I don't like what it is now. And I think it'll be great to just have a different setting, like a different, I can't explain it, like not
like
innovation, but
more like innovating it to speak to our culture.
Yeah, our culture. Yep.
A little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's my vision. We're still working that out, along with just seeing how we're gonna shift everything. But yeah, that's my big thing, to just have that. And there's a lot of things we have in mind, but that was my big thing.
She's been really pushing for that one.
Yeah, I have been.
Yeah, I love the idea. I think the fun thing about like following your passion is like the endless. It's a double-edged sword. It's like the endless ideas and the endless like curiosity of what can we do, but it's just almost like, wow, what a fucking blessing! Like how to be alive, to be having these ideas, like the thrill of exploring your passion in different ways, reinventing the wheel, so to speak. But the dope thing is it still hinges on a concrete rose, which is like the platform for the community. So it's always revolving around the community one way or another.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And that's another reason why, because just looking at who walks into the space, they're all creative. So I know that they would appreciate it. Yeah. They would love to be in a space like that. And then we already feel like we're at home. So so it just fits well with it. And of course, there's always something we can try. If it doesn't work out, on to the next.
But I love it.
And representation matters. I mean, when people see themselves in a character, they enjoy it a little bit more. Yeah. Maybe not themselves, maybe an uncle, maybe a cousin, maybe somebody that walks around their neighborhood. If they see that in a character in a show or a murder mystery dinner and they can relate to that person, they feel more immersed in it. Yeah. So like that's what we try to do with like the productions that we create and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's also like stepping out of the box, but still keeping things that people, like you said, relate to it. Which is, that's awesome. I think that's a great idea. I really do. I dig it.
That's the first time we even mentioned this.
Okay.
Exclusive. You got all the exclusives.
I think I'm the fucking guy you gotta come to for exclusives.
We dropped a couple of exclusives. We haven't talked to anybody since the whole situation with the concrete rose. But no, we're excited to be able to share that. We feel safe.
Awesome.
To do that here, so we appreciate that.
I told you bring that safety here.
Thank you. I work hard at it. I do.
You do. And it's crazy. I want to go back to what you were saying as far as like you was thinking like taking this and branching it out. We was definitely having that conversation. Like I was just like, this podcast is amazing. Like
we talked about it. Actually.
We did.
Oh. Yeah, we talked about it. Remember, I talked to you about it like weeks ago.
Yeah, and we was just talking about it, and she hasn't had the experience of coming in here, so I was just letting her know like my experience coming here, and I was just like, it was completely left of what I thought, because I didn't know anything. And so when I came here, I was just like, it's really safe, it's really comfortable, and I was like, it's a breeze. So kudos to you, and you do what you have to do because you deserve it.
Yeah,
it's. I think the cool thing about it is like. It's not easy, but every time, like every morning I wake up, I'm constantly thinking about how can I do this? How can I do it? Like it's a constant like, and it comes like with I have to be disciplined with it because I'm not single. I have a family. I have a wife. I have a full-time job that sometimes I joke around like my job's in the way, like but I need my job. But
I get it though.
But it's in the way.
I get it.
So I find time at my job to work on the podcast, and no one knows. It's all good, but I really thrive on like just doing it sometimes without even really thinking, because I feel like that's the how I work the best. Like not thinking, not thinking, but like don't think too much into it, because you could psych yourself out.
Yeah, that part.
You know what I mean? So I appreciate it. Too. I do work hard on it, but it also comes naturally for me, and I'm just honing in on what I feel like I'm here to do, which is kind of like facilitate conversations, listen to people, and it's kind of like turned into that. I didn't start off that wasn't the goal. The goal was just like, let's just have an interview and talk about your journey. But everybody keeps saying that, and my wife is extremely supportive. And I'm curious, like, I want to pick your brains while you're here. Like, there's times where she suggests things, and I'm like, I don't know. And then like a day or two later, I'm like, I'm thinking about it. So it makes a lot of sense.
That happens, and I have to bring this up. The menu.
Yeah.
Because we started off extravagant, like she said, and I kept saying, baby, let's make it simple. Like, let's make it simple.
I didn't listen to her.
She didn't listen to me. It's a year later, over a year later, she's finally like, you know what? I want to make it simple. Yeah. Oh, because she came up with the idea herself. So,
yeah. I dig
but it's just like, we had those moments. Like, there's a few things we're just like, not right now. Let's table that. Like, we don't want to turn it down, but we want to dig deeper into it later on. But yeah, and I'm really happy that we are simple and
Sometimes your partner does see things that you don't see. So like, they might not have like all the knowledge of what you're doing, but they see how exhausted you are. Yeah. They see you trying something that you've been trying for a while and it's not working in the way that you felt it would work. Yeah. So I would say with anything, like, take the meat and leave the bones. Like, listen to the suggestions. You don't always have to take them, but like, try to implement them and see if they work for you, because they may be like, especially not other people sometimes.
I dig
some people don't know what they're talking about. But your wife knows you. Yeah. So like, implementing those ideas sometimes to see if they work. And if they don't, say, hey, I tried it. It didn't work out for me. But like, she sees a part of you that no one else sees, and she might actually help you out. You never know. Mm-hmm. I never give her the satisfaction. Yeah.
No. There's times where I think like the further I go along in this life of mine, I'm like I find peace in like humbling. I find peace in welcoming the humility. Like, all right, I've done this enough. This ain't fucking working. All right, let me go back to the drawing board. What were you saying? Yep. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it. And then it's kind of like, oh, okay. I personally, for me, I'm like realizing how conditioned I've been to be like, no, I got it because I need to do it because I'm the one that's putting us in this position. Like, I decided to follow my dream and have a day job. You know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, like what y'all are doing and what I'm talking about here, it's just like, are you doing something that's making you happy? And the blessing to do it with somebody else that's right in line with you is pretty fucking dope. Yeah. Is there anything that that you were hoping to discuss while you were here that we didn't get to? No?
You?
No.
You're full of surprises. I don't know. I have to ask.
I was going to ask you because, well, you're working on this, so I'll let you disclose that one.
Don't hit me with another exclusive. I don't know.
I don't even know what I'm working on.
You want me to whisper to you?
With the mics here?
we can always come back.
It's going to come in.
For my 10 year.
Yeah.
Oh, the book?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm
You're writing a book.
I'm working on
get right to it. Yeah.
I was going to ask that earlier.
So I'm working on this book to commemorate the journey and process of Speak to My Soul. With the show, I've interviewed people and I have those interviews. I have the original transcripts of like what everyone has said. They're all anonymous, so like there won't be, their information won't be disclosed. But I do have the original interviews. I have notes from years ago, like plans, sketches, and things like that.
That's so cool.
One thing about me is I don't leap into a decision or into my dreams or a project without like thinking about every single step and beyond.
Yeah.
So I have every single step. I have every sketch, every interview, every idea that I may have jotted down on the side of a training paper at a job that I probably stayed at for 2 weeks. So I have all of those things. And I have, journals of notes. and reflections throughout these 10 years. So I'm going to I am putting it in a book so I can share it with other people.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's great.
That wasn't the big news. I mean, I'm also teaching myself how to like make my own beats. And, so I'm working on some things. You'll see more of me this year. Yeah.
And I'm going to test out this weekend to make sure my concussion is great, and I'm just going to
How are you doing, by the way? Because when that came about,
I'm doing a lot better.
Yeah,
I'm doing a lot better.
That goes back to like people don't realize what's really going on behind the scenes, because it's like from what I'm watching, I'm like, you're doing great, but that's nothing to joke around about. So, what happened? You fell or
no? I just hit my head on the corner of a shelf. But I hit it hard because I leaped up and I forgot the shelf was there, so it took me out. But I'm gonna see. This is my second one, so it lasted a little bit longer. So now I'm gonna see where I'm at, and then I do have some plans with dancing and just elevating myself because it's time. So you'll see me out more dancing.
And you got your trip to Puerto Rico coming up.
Absolutely, yes I do.
Okay.
I was going to try to say something in Spanish, but I'm still working on that. Working on it.
You're going to speak more than I can. That's good. That you're ahead of me already.
So, yes, I am taking my classes now, twice a week. So, yeah, I'm excited about that.
Okay. So, there's a lot of dope things going on then for 2024 for the both of you.
And it's our 4-year anniversary being married, and that's a big number for us. So, I'm super excited about that. Just looking forward to this year and stepping into a new year with my wife. You know, these years has been a lot going on with a lot of changes and things. So I look forward to stepping into this as a more well-informed wife, but then also a business partner and mother and family. So it's just like,
I echo that. Like the 2023 for us was like just a crazy year. My father died, and then my wife lost both of her aunts and her grandmother. Oh, wow. This all happens within like 7-8 months. Yeah. Wow, so we went to the same cemetery 4 times in a row. Yeah. And it was like just a deja vu, weird experience. And so I told my wife, I was like, this year has to be like, it needs to be I just need to fucking dominate this year. Like that's just where I'm at.
And
like,
you will.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, but it was just like, I've said it before, but there's just something about this year where I was like, we need to. I'd never done this. I was like, we gotta make a vision board. My wife was like, what the fuck are you doing?
She was like, I get the wine.
But it was just like, I need it. I want it. I feel like I need to because my dad died while working, literally, and it's like he never even got to retire to even enjoy what he was working for, and so it was just like, no, I need to. For him, I need to do this, and we need to do it the right way, and we have kids, and I need to set this in motion, but life is short, and 2023, it is what it is. This year needs to be like, I just need to dominate. So not to put this on me, but to compare it to what you're saying, it's like kudos, because like what you both have talked about and how this year has gone. This year really needs to be like the hat needs to come off, and like we need to just like do what we do.
And that's where, for me personally, that's where I'm at. I'm in a space where, it's just going to be different. Like I'm walking different. I came in different, and it's not that new me, you know. No, I'm there. So you gonna meet me here, or you gonna that's it. So but it's time. It's time, and then as much energy and we know our worth. So it's just time to just step into that, and then just take what it is. Like, for example, today, I don't know if you saw our windshield cracked.
No, I didn't see that.
It cracked, and then when I went into the store, it came out, it was bigger. So I didn't let that, upset me. I'm like, I'm just grateful in a position that I can get a new windshield, and I can, I'm safe. I didn't crash, nothing like that. So I'm just looking at different perspective of life, and it's our time.
Like, you have to. You have to. Positive vibes, people, bad energy, they need to go. Like, it's like this whole leveling up thing, and I dig it. I love this conversation. Like I said, I'm I'm happy we did this because to interact and to communicate and to network and to meet new people, I think it's imperative, not just for like doing something creative, but just like in life. Like get out there and meet new people and talk to people and share your thoughts and learn more. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you. I've been meaning to say this like the whole time. You, this is so weird, but you like have my dad's eyes.
I knew you was gonna say something.
You thought so too?
Like, yes,
I was like looking intensely in his eyes, and I'm like, so it's very, very.
Wow.
I mean, it's very comforting at the same time, but like, yeah, you like have his eyes, and it's something that you don't see often.
Yeah. I felt that, and I was just like, it was just.
I wanted to say something the whole time. I was like, wow, I've never been this close. So I was like, okay, but no,
well, that's good. I'm glad you're comfortable then.
Yeah. But thank you for creating a safe space. You know, even like us being women and being in a space with a man. Usually there's like a guard up, but you make it very comfortable for us to be ourselves, and we really appreciate that. This is amazing. You know, I'm big on production, so like coming in here, I'm like, oh, this is
I told her
this is nice. Because I pay attention to stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like the attention to detail that you have put into this, the great quality lighting, the you know, I've listened to the podcast. The sound quality, the whole production, branding is amazing.
I'm trying.
You know, this is all amazing. So like you're already there. It's just like expanding it and you know, putting your foot on the pedal to go further. That's where people, you know, usually feel like they've plateaued. And it's like, what's next? But we'll talk soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I look forward to it.
And also just it's just not your normal. You usually get surface level conversation. With hair, it's intimate, is deeper than that. Like these are the conversations I want to hear. I want to hear about the struggles. I want to hear. I don't want to hear, you know, just believe and it's gonna be all right. No, I want to know, you know,
the
and
raw,
get to know
the
you
real.
more.
Yeah. He was about to get you our social security numbers.
Right, just give him everything. Give him everything.
No, you ask great questions.
You do ask great questions. So.
I actually toy with like this idea of like I don't prepare for the interviews. Now the both of you I've already interviewed, so I kind of like had an idea, but even prior, it's almost like A, I don't have the time, and B, I kind of like to wing it as we're talking because I like the conversation to be organic. But there's a time like where I was like, it gets tough because I've had conversations with people that it's like pulling teeth.
I was about to ask you that.
Yeah, and so it's like when that happens, it doesn't bother me. What sucks is like I have to have these questions to keep the conversation going. And I told my wife, I was like, I think maybe what I'm going to start doing is actually have like some notes with me so that I can just like get to the next question that I have in mind. But I was taking a shower for this interview and I'm like getting ready and I was like, no, because it takes me out of the whole premise of the conversation is it's a conversation, not an interview. Like, even though it's an interview, but it's a conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some shit that I probably wasn't expecting to talk about or you weren't expecting to talk about. But at the end of the day, it's relatable. People listen to this and like, yo, I feel like I'm just getting hip to a private conversation that people are having and it's real. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I really hang my hat on it. I think it's just, I think if I ever want to do something different, I'm just going to do a different podcast, and because I can't change JMC, it is what it is, and people are kind of getting hip to like, now they know what to expect. I every now and then I'll get people that'll hit me up and they want to get on to plug something, and I'm like, that's not what I do. Yeah. But then I feel like, should I turn it down? But I'm like, that's not what I do. So I think I just need to stick to like finding a balance of this is a place where people feel comfortable and safe to talk about some things. But while we're at it, let's have a conversation and joke and laugh, because that's what life is. That's what people relate to. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you.
Grateful to have you here. That's it.
Pleasure.
We're all done now.
All right.